All right, so we're going to take a look at how to do the mean and median calculations, your measures of central tendency, with your Casio graphing calculator. And I'll go back to the data that we had for the notes. So we're back here in the box with the data of the 8 random students and how many hours of TV they watched last night. Right, so to come up with the mean and median for this data set, we're going to grab our calculator and type all of this data into a list, right? So we've got a calculator here. We need to go over to stacked and hit execute. And I've still got my data set in here from the last video I made, so I'm going to delete everything out, and you just keep hitting delete, and it'll delete all of your data pieces right out of there. Okay? All right, and so now we need to type in, I'll shrink this down so we can see. So into our list, we're going to hit well, hang on just a second. Can't quite do that, right? I can't see the bottom of this. All right, so just gonna have to remember it. So 5, 2, 4, 1, 3, 5, 3, 3. And go ahead and type that into your list. And I'll do the same here. I'm having trouble with my program here, so I'm going to close it and bring it back up. Okay, finally. Sorry about that. So we'll go over to stat. There we go. Hit execute. Now type in our data. So one student said 5 hours, one said 2, 4, 1, 3, 5, 3, 3. So anytime you're going to want to do any calculations or graphing on your data, you always need to make sure that you put your data in just in one list. So there we've got everything in our list. Now we need to do some calculations, right? So our mean and median are just a calculation on our data set. So you see here that calc is our F2 option, so you hit that. You have 2 options here. You have 1 variable and 2 variable. Right now we're just measuring 1 variable, hours slept last night. Okay, so we can hit F1 to do our 1 variable calculations. Now just so that you're aware, you can change the way that you change which list you're doing your calculations on. Is by hitting F6 and going to set. So if you hit that, it'll ask you to where is your list for your 1 variable stuff. And my data is in list 1. And then in a minute we'll talk about a frequency list that we can do. Okay. So anyway, if I want to choose a different list, I would choose F1 here. And then just type in whichever list we want to do this for. Now I want to do it for 1, so I'm going to hit 1, enter. And then I can hit exit. Now when I hit 1 variable, boom, it calculates everything out for me. So X bar is our mean. So 3.25 hours slept is the mean for these 8 students. And then the other guys we'll talk about later, where SX is your standard, is your sample standard deviation. Mu x is sigma, not mu. Sigma is your population standard deviation. And so if we arrow down, and we'll talk about what min, Q1, Q3, and max mean later, but this guy right here, this MED is your median. Okay? And so there you go. Okay, easy enough. How we change the lists and how we calculate. All right, now within this same video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a weighted mean, how to do the weighted mean. Okay, and this will pop up in the next few sections of this module. So to do a weighted mean, let's say, for example, you want to calculate out your semester grade, where 40% of your semester grade comes from first 9 weeks, right? This was kind of the example that we used in the notes. 40% of your semester grade comes from the second 9 weeks, and 20% of your semester grade comes from your final exam, right? Which is kind of how it is at our school. Okay, and now let's say you got an 84% first 9 weeks, and then slacked a little bit, got a 76% second 9 weeks, and then killed the final, got a 92, right? And you want to come up with your semester grade, which is basically a weighted average, right? Well, the calculator will do that for us. All we've got to do is take the 84, 76, 92, type it into a list, and then use another list to type in our weights. So the 40%, 40%, and 20%. So put all these in as decimals is probably the easiest way to do this. So 84, 76, and 92. So in 84, 76, and 92, right? So clear out this first list. We got 84% or 0.84 first 9 weeks, 76% or 0.76 the next 9 weeks, 92% or 0.92 for the final exam, right? And then in list 2, since first 9 weeks is 40% of your semester grade, we're going to type in its weight, which is 0.4. Same thing for the second 9 weeks. And then the semester exam, the final exam, is 20%. So now we have our weights in the second list. Okay? Now, we're still going to do a one variable stat because it's still one variable that we're measuring, right? It's just your grade. But we got to go to F6. And so our data is in list 1. Those are our scores. Our frequency or our weights are in list 2. So if we arrow down, you see here that list populates for F2. So we're going to hit F2 and then tell it that the frequency or the weights are in list 2 and hit execute. And then we exit out. If we do our one variable stat now, then you can see that our mean now is 0.824. So that means that you have an 82.4% for the semester, or B minus. Okay? And so that's how you're going to use your calculator to do your weighted averages, weighted means as well. All right. And there you go.